Alrighty, go ahead.
But I mean, no, I mean this is so stupid. It's so stupid, and I'm kind of mad at the CDC for giving this kind of ammunition to people on the far right that basically doubt the legitimacy of the virus.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so obviously they've always been saying throughout the entirety of the virus, oh, the case numbers are inflated, oh, the death numbers are inflated. There's no way that many people died from the virus. I'm sure even if you went back to like the beginning of the virus, if you told them like this is gonna kill over 100,000 people, maybe even over 300,000 people, they would say, "There's no way. That's not gonna happen."
True.
So now here we are at 200,000 people, and they're saying that's an acceptable number. Yeah, that's a realistic number. I'm okay with that. Behind the strong leadership of Donald Trump, that's why we don't have 2 million deaths. Whenever the reality is, if there was 2 million deaths, they'd still say
They still
Trump's
wouldn't
doing
care.
a great job.
Yeah, they still wouldn't. They still wouldn't give a shit. Yeah.
Leadership is still doing a perfect job. Which is why I'm just mad at the CDC for just putting through numbers like this. They came through and said, or they released this. I don't know if it was yesterday or early today because I mean, days or years now. Of the confirmed deaths involving COVID-19, only 6% of them were directly caused by COVID-19. Like COVID-19 is the sole reason that person died.
Yeah.
The other 94% of people had pre-existing conditions or poor, what are they called? Poor morbidities, I think.
Oh, comorbidities.
Comorbidities. Yeah, the other 94% are comorbidities. Now, let's say you're a Q moron, okay? You're a Q moron. Put yourself in that spot, okay?
You live. Let's pretend you live in a separate reality.
Yeah, you subscribe to the Church of Trailer Park Scientology, and you've decided, okay, I'm gonna cut my IQ. I'm gonna take my IQ. I'm gonna cut it in half. I'm cut it in half. And
so wait, hold on. So you're going from 40 to 20?
Yes.
Okay.
And you see this headline, you see, because that's what the headline is. Only 6% of COVID-19 deaths are due to COVID-19. And you just excuse the fact that all those other ones are due to comorbidities such as pneumonia, influenza, even something as simple as high blood pressure, which is something that like 70% of adults over the age of 50 suffer from.
Mm-hmm.
You have to suspend your disbelief in this, because if you have, let's say you're running an experiment and you have a bunch of people on trial or running trials on people that have these pre-existing conditions, and you introduce a stimulus that makes death more likely whenever people have those pre-existing conditions, you don't say that high blood pressure killed them. You say that stimulus killed them. Right? Is that such an unreasonable thing to get through your mind? I mean, these people aren't like 6% of these people died from COVID-19, and all the others died from like a gunshot, and then they also had COVID-19, so they were written down as a COVID-19 death. That's not what's happening.
Well, you know how pre-existing conditions work for them, right? You know, because like if you're, let's just say you're some random guy on the street, and then a police officer, you know, puts their knee on your neck, cutting off circulation, and then like you also like had COVID and everything like that, they'll blame it as a COVID death, you know, because they'll blame that the guy that, you know, had a police officer's knee on his neck, cutting off his circulation.
Oh, they're gonna write that up as a COVID death.
No, but and also that, you know, that also he had a pre-existing condition that caused him, you know, I mean, even though he was being, you know, strangled to death, something else totally killed him.
Like George Floyd had a heart attack.
Yeah, exactly, like that.
He just happened to have an officer cutting off circulation to his brain whenever he had that heart attack.
Yeah, so it's just, I mean, it happens, you know.
I mean, technically, if you use that logic, every single death in the history of the world is heart failure. Every single one.
Oh yeah, totally.
Your heart stopped working.
Yeah.
If you get a bullet through your heart stopped working. The bullet didn't do anything to do that. That was just coincidentally something that also happened alongside your heart failure.
Yeah. So Or I was gonna say, or your lungs stop working, or your brain stop working. You can blame any death on that, really. Like all deaths, 100% of deaths are related to heart failure. Number one cause of death. Everybody dies of it.
Yeah, and even something like AIDS, one of the worst like infections that you can contract. You can't be cured from it. If you consider the fact that AIDS has never killed anybody, it's actually like complications from pneumonia or
Yeah.
a fever that kill you because you also have AIDS. Then AIDS is pretty much a non-lethal infection.
Yeah. Or yeah, because actually I just watched a video recently on that, like whenever they discovered AIDS, like back in the 80s and stuff like that, and like since it was and they didn't know what it was, so like it was funny because like, or I mean I guess it's terribly funny that they named, like they first named the disease, it was like gay related pneumonia or something, because it was typically like, gay men that would die of pneumonia, so they thought it was something like related to that, so like typically they tend to name things, based on like, or right away people always like to name the things based on like what they think caused it, but like it might not have actually been the cause of it, even though they'll say it was gay related. Anybody can get AIDS, like that kind of stuff. And it's also how Trump was quick to call it the Chinese virus because it came from China, like even though it relates the complications revolving around that.
Yeah, actually, most strains of coronavirus in the United States, especially in like New York, where it actually blew up, they came from Europe. They were European strains.
Yep. But it's the Chinese virus, right?
Yeah, but anyways, just back to this. Somebody on the right, they see a headline like this, and they don't want to put in any efforts. They probably just read the headline and say, I know for a fact they read the headline because I see friends on Facebook that just share the article. 6% of COVID deaths are because of COVID. And they just go, isn't that interesting? Or I could have told you this was the case all along.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you realize how many American adults over the age of 50 have pre-existing conditions?
Yeah, I was
effectively all of them.
Yeah. I was gonna do it because like it's just a common thing I've noticed among conservatives. They always like to just read headlines, and that's all the information they need. They got an opinion right there. Like they don't do a deep dive into anything ever.
Just take it at face value. If it helps your preconceived narrative, then you share it. You don't read the article. You just share it and say, "See, I told you all along that this is the case." But then if you see a headline that combats
fake news
or disagrees with your narrative, then yeah, it's fake news. It's not real.
Yeah, it's fake news, and it came from the liberal media, and you should totally forget about it. Yeah, because there's the comorbidities that they were talking about. They have like a whole list of all of them in relation to them. So yeah, like, and it's older people, because like as you were saying, pretty much all older people have one of these. They have some sort of respiratory disease, some sort of circulatory. Because even if you just have like high blood pressure, you know what I mean, like or diabetes, like that can count. Like is what they're saying is like, so anybody that has diabetes but then also clearly dies because of COVID, it'll get counted amongst that, and then they instantly think it's. Nope. See, only 6% of deaths were. Yeah, it just their brains work in mysterious ways.
Yeah, it's I mean, I have actually the person that shared that on Facebook. Remember Brent, the kid that I worked with?
Yeah.
That's who shared it. He shared the article, and he's like, interesting.
So what's his does he have any sort of like experience in like statistical analysis or data analytics, like anything like that, like to go over this kind of stuff?
No.
No, of course not. I mean, I wouldn't expect anything. But yeah, so you can.
And I mean, you have to kind of blame the CDC. You have to. Because,
yeah.
I mean, they're smart, and these people are dumb. They have to know that they're putting out information.
Does Trump have any control over the CDC? Like, can he like have this kind of authority to like put this stuff out in this manner?
The CDC is going to do their reporting no matter what. But I'm pretty sure they have to go now. Trump is making them give the numbers to the White House before they release them, before they send them out publicly.
Typical.
And also, that's a good point. That's a good point in the chat. 6% of healthy people who die from COVID is alarming.
Yeah, people that have like completely like people like I don't know. I mean, I have no health problems at all whatsoever. So like, if I were to just straight up die from COVID, like that means that like something's pretty serious. That like it just flat out kills me.
Yeah, you take 100,000 healthy people, give them all COVID, 6% of them will die. 6,000 of them will die.
Crazy stuff.
is what that data suggests.
Yeah, and it's like even things that are just kind of like, like I'm just reading through a couple of these that are just kind of like not really like not something that you would just die like straight up from, like, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, obesity, like, yeah, like they're counting obesity as a pre-existing condition, because I mean, like, typically like people that are obese do have other health related problems, so like, but just because they're counting that means that like oh, so no death, so if you were fat and you died of COVID, no problem. Like, you're good. Like, didn't count.
No,
Like,
you died because you're fat. You think COVID got you? No way.
yeah, no, like that's what happens in their mind, and it's mind-boggling how that works. Because
I mean, you go back to the gunshot analogy. If you get shot in the lung, your lung collapses and you can't breathe anymore. The bullet didn't kill you. The collapsed lung killed you.
Exactly. Now, actually, you know what? Just to do a test of that, if I just Google like CDC COVID, I guarantee you we'll see like a headline that would give them that kind of information. Oh, see, actually, Twitter. Oh, see, now there's people covering it in a responsible way, saying the CDC does not mean only 6% died. Yeah.
Yeah, so, because they have to account for that kind of blowback.
Twitter removes QAnon's... Oh, finally! Twitter is doing something about QAnon. Yeah. Oh, New York Post said something at least somewhat responsible, saying they had contributed... 94% of Americans who died from COVID has... Yeah, see, this is... Did I say that... Is it the New York Post that's also owned by Fox? By what's it called? Media... Like, Media Corp? Was it them, or is it the New York... something? I don't know.
I mean, the New York Post does publish some articles that are pretty, like, down the middle. They have some reliable.
Yeah, no, but it's the one you said earlier about the dude, like, with
suspect.
Yeah, the confirmed Antifa, like that kind of stuff. Like, they're known to do that kind of stuff. But like, oh yeah, they also had contributed conditions. So your average conservative looks at that and goes, "Oh, I knew it all along. See,
perfect.
COVID doesn't kill it." But then like this, but then this one, like right here. Or like this one right here, like, oh, that's fake news. CNN, oh, that's fake news. That's the communist news network, fake news. Or all this kind of stuff. Yeah, no. But yeah, this one right here confirms everything I believed in, so it's good. Yeah. Any other data you wanna dive into here?
I mean, not really. I mean, you'd think something like that would speak for itself, but you really have to hold people's hands through sets of data.
Yeah, because I would say I'm gonna come off as too conceited, but I feel like you should have to take like a good like statistics or data analysis class before you could give your opinion on like any chart or any sort of like table of data like this, because some people look at this and go, "Oh, I knew exactly what I was talking about the whole time." Like, yeah. And then it doesn't confirm at all what they actually believe in, because they just read headlines and that's it.